Hello guys. The devastating betrayal, Trina's heartbreak as Kai's loyalty lies exposed. A shocking discovery that changes everything. The halls of Port Charles are buzzing with dramatic intensity as one of General Hospital's most compelling young couples faces their ultimate test. Trina Robinson, the fierce and loyal daughter of Curtis Ashford and Portia Robinson, has discovered a truth that cuts deeper than any physical wound could. Her boyfriend Kai Taylor has betrayed her family's trust in the most devastating way possible. The revelation came to light during a pivotal episode that aired on July 11, 2025, when Kai arrived at the Jerome Gallery after Trina's art show had already concluded. What should have been a moment of celebration quickly transformed into a scene of heartbreak and betrayal that will have lasting consequences for both characters and their families. The web of deception unravels. Kai Taylor, the former quarterback turned congressional intern, found himself caught between two worlds: his growing feelings for Trina and his loyalty to Drew Cain, the congressman who had shown him kindness during his darkest hours. When Kai overheard Curtis discussing his plan to locate Jacinda, the escort involved in Drew's ketamine scandal, he faced a choice that would define his character and determine his future. The young man, who had been struggling with a career-ending injury and subsequent surgery, felt indebted to Drew for financing his medical procedures and offering him a congressional internship. This sense of obligation clouded his judgment, leading him to make a decision that would ultimately cost him the woman he claimed to love. The moment of truth. When Kai confessed to Trina that he had informed Drew about her father's plans, the emotional dam burst. Trina, who had been worried about her parents' marriage and the ongoing tension with Drew, discovered that her own boyfriend had been the source of her family's latest crisis. "I told Drew about what I heard at your house," Kai admitted, his words cutting through the gallery's silence like a blade. The revelation that Curtis was tracking down Jacinda to expose Drew's voluntary ketamine use was information that Kai felt compelled to share with his benefactor. A relationship in ruins. Trina's reaction was swift and unforgiving. The young woman, who had already endured heartbreak with Spencer Casadini and learned to trust again, found herself facing another betrayal from someone she had allowed into her heart. Her response was both powerful and heartbreaking. She chose her family over her romantic feelings. "My family always comes first," Trina declared, her voice steady despite the emotional turmoil. Even when Kai professed his love for her, admitting his true feelings in a desperate attempt to salvage their relationship, Trina remained resolute in her decision to end things between them. The ripple effects. The betrayal extended far beyond just Trina and Kai's relationship. Curtis's carefully laid plans to expose Drew's ketamine scandal were now in jeopardy, with Drew having advance warning of the scheme. This information allowed the congressman to potentially intercept Jacinda before Curtis could reach her, effectively neutralizing the threat to his political career. Portia Robinson, already struggling with the pressure of Drew's blackmail regarding her involvement in the ketamine acquisition, found herself caught in the middle of her husband's fury and her daughter's heartbreak. The family dynamics became increasingly strained as the consequences of Kai's betrayal continued to unfold. The manipulation behind the scenes. Drew Cain's role in this drama cannot be understated. The congressman had systematically cultivated Kai's loyalty, taking advantage of the young man's vulnerable state after his injury. By positioning himself as Kai's savior and benefactor, Drew ensured that he would have a loyal ally who would prioritize his interests over personal relationships. This manipulation tactic is characteristic of Drew's calculated approach to maintaining power and control. He understood that Kai's gratitude and sense of obligation would make him a valuable asset, someone who could provide inside information about potential threats to his political career. The aftermath and future implications. The breakup scene between Trina and Kai was described by viewers as one of the most powerful and emotionally charged moments in recent General Hospital history. Trina's decision to prioritize her family loyalty over her romantic feelings showcased her strength and moral compass, even in the face of genuine heartbreak. For Kai, the loss of Trina represents more than just the end of a relationship. It's a wake-up call about the true cost of his choices. His loyalty to Drew, once seen as honorable gratitude, now appears as a betrayal of the people who truly cared about him. The broader family drama. The Curtis and Portia storyline continues to evolve, with their marriage facing unprecedented strain. Curtis's discovery of Drew's blackmail scheme and his wife's involvement has created a rift that may be irreparable. The couple's relationship, already tested by previous secrets and lies, now faces its greatest challenge. Meanwhile, Drew's political machinations continue to affect multiple families in Port Charles. His ability to manipulate situations and people to his advantage has made him a formidable antagonist, one whose influence extends far beyond the political realm into the personal lives of those around him. Character development and growth. This storyline has provided significant character development for Trina, showcasing her growth from a party-loving teenager to a young woman with strong moral convictions. Her decision to stand by her family, despite her feelings for Kai, demonstrates the values instilled in her by her parents and her own inner strength. For Kai, this experience serves as a crucial learning moment about loyalty, consequences, and the importance of choosing the right side when faced with moral dilemmas. His future actions will determine whether he can redeem himself or if he will continue down a path that distances him from those who truly matter. Next, we will learn about the escalating tensions surrounding Giovanni Joe Palmieri and how his potential defiance of Sonny Corinthos' directives could spell catastrophe, possibly drawing the wrath of the dangerous Jen Sidwell right to his doorstep. In the heart of Port Charles, whispers of betrayal and looming peril are swirling around young Joe Palmieri, whose impulsive actions might shatter the fragile peace his grandfather Sonny is desperately trying to maintain. Fresh from the dramatic events of the July 10th episode, Joe found himself inadvertently eavesdropping on a secretive conversation involving Sidwell, the cunning antagonist with ambitions that threatened the entire Corinthos family. Sidwell was plotting a flight to Belize, coupled with schemes to revive the long-dormant investigation into Natalia Ramirez's mysterious dealings, a move that could unravel years of carefully buried secrets. This revelation hit Joe like a thunderbolt, prompting him to race to Sonny's fortified residence, where he breathlessly relayed the intel in hopes of aiding his powerful relative. But Sonny's reaction was anything but grateful. Instead, it was a stern, almost paternal command laced with genuine fear. Drawing from his vast experience in the shadowy underworld, Sonny emphasized the mortal risks involved, especially in light of the recent near tragedy that befell his daughter Christina at Charlie's pub. To flesh this out, imagine Gio's wide-eyed enthusiasm clashing with Sonny's weathered caution. Sonny, haunted by visions of flames engulfing the pub and nearly claiming Christina's life, painted a vivid picture of how quickly innocence can turn to ashes in their world. He even went so far as to acknowledge Tracy Quartermain's overprotective instincts toward Joe, admitting that her decision to shield the young man from the Corinthos chaos might have been wiser than he previously thought. In a poignant moment, Sonny urged Joe to keep his distance, at least temporarily, suggesting that the best way to honor their bond was through separation, perhaps even recommending Joe immerse himself in safer pursuits like music lessons or community events to distract from the brewing storm. Yet, the undercurrents of danger refused to subside, as Carly Spencer's well-intentioned efforts to broker a truce between Sonny and Sidwell appear doomed to fail, potentially accelerating the conflict toward an explosive climax. Carly, ever the pragmatic voice in Sonny's tumultuous life, has been advocating for de-escalation, arguing that continued hostilities could claim more innocent lives. Much like the ominous fire that targeted Christina, she's envisioned scenarios where Sidwell's vendetta extends beyond direct confrontations, perhaps targeting peripheral figures like Marco Rios, a lesser-known associate whose involvement in underground dealings makes him a vulnerable link in the chain. Adding a layer of intrigue, let's invent a subplot where Carly uncovers a hidden alliance between Sidwell and a shadowy Belizean contact, one that could funnel resources into Port Charles and amplify the threat. Despite her pleas, Sonny's protective instincts are firing on all cylinders, and the narrative suggests that escalation is inevitable. Picture heated strategy sessions at the Corinthos compound, with maps of potential Sidwell hideouts spread across tables, as Sonny weighs the costs of retaliation. This tension underscores a broader theme in General Hospital, the inescapable pull of family ties in a town riddled with crime, where even attempts at peace often backfire, leaving characters like Joe caught in the crossfire. Complicating matters further, Gio's innate curiosity and sense of loyalty might override Sonny's explicit warnings, positioning him as an unwitting catalyst for even greater peril. Sonny was crystal clear: steer clear of Sidwell's orbit, avoid any eavesdropping or meddling that could alert the villain to Gio's awareness. But youth often breeds rebellion, and Joe, fueled by a mix of adolescent bravado and a desire to prove his worth in the family legacy, could disregard this advice entirely. Imagine a scenario where Joe, perhaps sneaking into a high-stakes meeting disguised as a delivery boy, overhears even more damning plans details about Sidwell's empire expansion, including illicit shipments disguised as humanitarian aid to Belize, which tie back to Natalia Ramirez's unresolved case. This invented element heightens the stakes, showing Joe not just as a listener but as a potential saboteur, maybe even attempting to anonymously tip off authorities, only to be traced back through Sidwell's sophisticated surveillance network. Such defiance wouldn't just annoy Sonny, it could paint a massive bullseye on Joe's back, exploiting the well-known blood connection that no amount of physical distance can erase. The entire town is abuzz with rumors of the Corinthos lineage, from coffee shops to the hospital corridors, making Joe's safety illusion at best. In a detailed expansion, consider how this betrayal might unfold over several episodes, Joe confiding in a trusted friend like Jocelyn Jacks, who inadvertently leaks info. Or even Joe confronting Sidwell directly in a misguided bid for heroism, echoing classic soap opera tropes of youthful hubris leading to downfall. The fallout from such recklessness could thrust Joe into a harrowing crisis, transforming him from a peripheral player to the epicenter of a medical emergency that grips Port Charles. Envision a dramatic sequence where Sidwell's operatives, disguised as everyday citizens, orchestrate an ambush, perhaps a car chase through the winding roads near the Quartermain estate, culminating in a crash that leaves Joe battered and fighting for his life. This would pave the way for intense hospital scenes at General Hospital, with monitors beeping frantically and doctors like Hamilton Finn racing against time to stabilize him. New details could include Joe suffering from internal injuries that require experimental surgery, drawing in specialists from out of town, and highlighting the hospital's cutting-edge facilities. The emotional ripple effects would be profound, serving as a catalyst for family reunions and reflections on lost time. Brooklyn Quartermain, Gio's mother, might rush to his bedside, her music career forgotten as she clutches his hand, regretting the years spent apart due to her own complicated past. Similarly, Dante Falconeri, his father, could channel his detective skills into vowing personal vengeance, all while bonding with Brooklyn in shared grief and determination. This invented family dynamic adds depth, perhaps including flashbacks to Gio's childhood, showing missed birthdays and holidays that now fuel their resolve to make up for lost moments. For Sonny, this incident could represent the ultimate breaking point, a visceral reminder of how his lifestyle endangers those he loves most. Pushing Sonny to his limits, Gio's potential injury amid the Sonny-Sidwell feud might ignite a full-scale war, with Sonny unleashing his resources to dismantle Sidwell's operations brick by brick. In this heightened narrative, Sonny could assemble a coalition of allies, from Jason Morgan's stealthy reconnaissance to unexpected help from Ava Jerome, who sees an opportunity to realign her own agendas. Detailed analysis of this section reveals Sonny's transformation from a man advocating caution to a relentless force, perhaps infiltrating Sidwell's Belize base with a daring raid that exposes the Ramirez investigation's ties to international smuggling rings. Inventing elements like hidden evidence vaults or double agents within Sidwell's crew would enrich the plot, showing Sonny's empire-crushing strategy as methodical yet ferocious. The chaos could spill into public spectacles, like a confrontation at the Port Charles docks, where shipments are sabotaged, leading to arrests and betrayals that reshape the town's power structure. Ultimately, this storyline underscores the perils of defying familial edicts in a world of crime, with Gio's fate hanging in the balance. Next, we will learn about the riveting twists awaiting us in Port Charles for the week of July 14, 2025, where Sonny Corinthos faces a gut-wrenching demand for sacrifice. Nina Reeves grapples with the fallout of her choices, and young Emma Scorpio Drake bears her soul in a shocking confession. Kicking off the week with a somber note, the residents of Port Charles gathered to bid a final farewell to the enigmatic Natalia Ramirez, whose untimely passing has left ripples of intrigue and unresolved mysteries in its wake. The memorial service promises to be a powder keg of emotions, with Marco Rios, her devoted partner, standing front and center, his grief perhaps masking deeper layers of resentment toward those he holds responsible. Adding an unexpected twist, the formidable Jen Sidwell could make an appearance, ostensibly to maintain his polished facade and offer condolences to his son. but whispers suggest he might be there to gauge alliances or even scout for vulnerabilities amid the mourning crowd. To heighten the drama, imagine Sidwell arriving in a sleek black limousine, his entourage subtly scanning the attendees. While hidden agendas simmer beneath courteous exchange, perhaps he's planting subtle hints about reopening old investigations tied to Natalia's shadowy past, like forgotten Belazian connections that could unearth buried scandals. Sonny Corinthos, ever the wild card, might unexpectedly crash the event, his presence igniting immediate friction. Especially since Marco has been vocal about pinning blame on Sonny for the chaos that led to this tragedy. This invented element of a surprise floral tribute from Sonny, misinterpreted as a veiled threat, could escalate tensions, leading to hushed confrontations in the chapel aisles. Compounding Sonny's woes, Drew Kane issues a directive to Curtis Ashford involving a sensational headline that promises to drag Sonny's name through the mud, potentially exposing fabricated ties to underground dealings and amplifying his legal entanglements in the public eye. Shifting gears to family dynamics, Michael Corinthos pulls his parents aside for a candid conversation that peels back layers of concern over recent departures from town. He'll likely break the news to Carly Spencer and Sonny about Sasha Gilmore's abrupt decision to flee Port Charles alongside young Daisy Gilmore Corinthos, a move shrouded in urgency that hints at underlying fears for their safety. Carly, with her sharp maternal instincts, won't hold back, pressing for assurances and demanding to know if Sonny's turbulent lifestyle has endangered the innocent child, perhaps drawing parallels to past incidents where his enemies targeted the vulnerable. Inventing a fresh detail, picture this scene unfolding in the cozy yet tense confines of the Corinthos kitchen, where family photos on the fridge serve as poignant reminders of happier times. And Carly's voice cracks as she recalls a near-miss incident from years ago involving a similar threat to a child in their circle. This revelation sets the stage for deeper heartbreak, as later in the week, Sonny is confronted with a monumental request for sacrifice, stepping away from his empire or severing ties to protect loved ones, which leaves Carly devastated, her world crumbling as she envisions a future without the man who's been her anchor through countless storms. Meanwhile, Sasha's storyline takes an emotional detour as she seeks out Nina Reeves for a heartfelt exchange before vanishing from Port Charles, perhaps sharing final words of forgiveness or warning that underscore their complicated bond. This encounter paves the way for Nina to confront the harsh repercussions of her recent missteps. Whether it's backlash from meddling in family affairs or professional fallout from her bold moves at Crimson magazine. To expand creatively, envision Nina standing at the docks, watching Sasha's boat fade into the horizon, tears streaming as she reflects on invented flashbacks of mentoring Sasha during her early modeling days, only to now face isolation from allies who view her actions as self-serving. The consequences could manifest in dramatic fashion, like a boardroom showdown where Nina loses a key partnership, forcing her to rebuild from scratch and question her path forward in a town that never forgets betrayals. Reconnections and redirections heat up as Isaiah Gannon crosses paths once more with Willow Tate, offering guidance that aims to realign her turbulent emotions amid personal upheavals. Isaiah, with his steady wisdom, will attempt to nudge Willow toward clarity, perhaps drawing on their shared history to encourage healthier choices. However, a teaser from Monday's episode shows Willow shifting all accountability onto Michael, her words laced with frustration that could signal cracks in their marriage. Adding inventive flair, imagine this reunion happening in a quiet park bench setting, where Willow clutches a forgotten letter from her past, and Isaiah reveals a new element, a hidden journal entry from Willow's biological mother that sheds light on inherited patterns of blame, prompting Willow to confront her role in the discord rather than solely faulting her husband. Legal and loyal defenses come into play as Alexis Davis steps up to shield Sonny from Marco's accusations, her courtroom honed arguments perhaps unfolding in a heated sidewalk exchange that draws onlookers. Anna Devane, meanwhile, turns to her trusted confidant Felicia Scorpio for solace, sharing burdens that weigh heavily on her detective's conscience. By week's end, Anna pivots to interrogating Carly with pointed questions that could unravel secrets long kept under wraps. Inventing depth here, consider Anna discovering a cryptic note in Natalia's belongings that links Carly to an old Devane family vendetta, leading to a tense living room confrontation where Anna's eyes flash with suspicion, forcing Carly to dodge or divulge in ways that alter alliances. The week builds to personal revelations and panic, starting with Emma Scorpio Drake's bold confession, which might involve admitting a hidden crush or a minor deception that's ballooned out of control, shaking her youthful world. Lucas Jones spirals into frenzy, perhaps over a medical scare involving a loved one or a professional crisis at the hospital that tests his resolve. Trina Robinson unburdens her heart to Jocelyn Jacks regarding Kai Taylor's stinging betrayal, pouring out details of broken trust that leave her questioning the future of their romance. Yet, Jocelyn's empathetic ear might spark a turnaround, with Trina pondering reconciliation after weighing pros and cons in a soul-searching chat. To enrich this, invent a subplot where Trina finds an old love letter from Kai tucked in her art supplies, stirring nostalgia that clashes with her anger. While Jocelyn shares parallels from her own rocky history with relationships, offering advice laced with humor and hindsight. Finally, tensions simmer in the Ashford household as Curtis Ashford shuts down Stella Henry's inquiries, his stonewalling hinting at irreparable rifts in his marriage to Portia Robinson. This could stem from unresolved issues like trust breaches or external pressures, painting a picture of a union on the brink. Expanding imaginatively, picture Stella cornering Curtis at a family dinner, her probing questions about Portia's secretive late-night calls leading to a slammed door and unspoken regrets. With invented details of a misplaced photo album revealing happier days that contrast sharply with their current discord, foreshadowing potential separations or dramatic interventions. ABC General Hospital spoilers promise a week packed with sacrifices, confessions, and confrontations that will keep fans on the edge of their seats tuning in for all the unfolding drama in Port Charles.